What's going on, you guys? Welcome on back to the channel. Now, if you've been watching my channel for the last little bit, you know that one of the things that I love talking about is the character of Momoshiki and how they could show up in the story. And my reasoning that I like doing this is because Momoshiki, I feel like, is such an outlier character for Two Blue Vortex because we've seen practically every character from part one in Two Blue Vortex except Momoshiki. What's going on with him? What is his overall plan for the story? So I figured I would make this quick little video just to talk about Momoshiki, what he could have been doing like in the interim period, like leading into Two Blue Vortex, and how he could affect the story now. So what I think happened with Momoshiki, like during the little interim period of Boruto before we get into Two Blue Vortexes, I think Momoshiki at some point was taking over Boruto at one point. And what I mean by this is we now know that Boruto and Kashin Koji were training together at one point because Kashin Koji, when Boruto met up with him, Kashin Koji was like, I'm going to teach you everything that you learn in the future. So during this, I feel like Kashin Koji was like, all right, I'm going to teach you how to master your karma so that way you can better use it and not have to worry. But I think during this whole training session with trying to master the karma, I think Momoshiki might have tried to take over Boruto at that point. Because if you noticed in one of the chapters recently, you noticed that when Kawaki activated his karma in front of Boruto, Boruto started freaking out. And he immediately had to retreat because his karma was activating. And even the frog that is essentially Kashin Koji speaking through it was like, you got to get out of there. So that all that does is that just tells me that at some point Boruto was training his karma to try to use it better in the future, because maybe they thought it could be a way to strengthen his jutsu that he was learning. But Momoshiki has found a way to take over through the karma essentially, and Boruto now realized, okay, I can't use karma because Momoshiki has the potential to resurface through that. So I think that might have been a thing going on during the interim period with Momoshiki. Momoshiki tried to take over Boruto. Boruto probably had to fight him back mentally, and he was just probably barely able to push him back. So that's what I think was going on in the past with Momoshiki. What do I think could go on in the future? Well, at first, I thought with that whole interrogation thing, I thought that I thought that arc was gonna go a little bit longer, and I thought Momoshiki would be manifesting and taunting Boruto a little bit in his mind. That didn't happen. I thought that could happen. Didn't pan out that way. So another thing that I think Momoshiki could do is that I think Momoshiki is waiting until Boruto is at his lowest again. He's waiting for Boruto to reach that point where like things keep failing for Boruto. Boruto failed to get the bulb to bring Sasuke back. That's one thing that he failed. It- we now know that if Boruto doesn't follow this specific path, the world is going to fall apart and the world is essentially going to end. So I think what Momoshiki is banking on is he's banking on Boruto to fail more. And what I mean by this is now we have Shinki as one of the Ten Tails now. He's become one of them. That's another thing that's now a falling action of Boruto failing. So because Boruto failed to get the bulb, Shinki is now a Ten Tails. So I think if Boruto keeps failing and more things keep falling into place in the bad timeline that Kashin Koji saw, it's going to result in Boruto's mental state probably deteriorating, and that's how Momoshiki could potentially come back through that. Momoshiki is essentially playing a long game where he has to wait for certain things to happen, because Momoshiki thought Boruto would come crumbling apart during Omnipotence, but since Boruto was with Sasuke and Sasuke believed in him, that didn't happen, and Momoshiki wasn't able to take over, and Momoshiki had to essentially retreat back into the recesses of Boruto's mind because he essentially failed. So what Momoshiki has to do now is he has to wait for the perfect opportunity to strike again when Boruto is at his lowest. And if Boruto keeps failing, he'll be there soon enough. And that is when Momoshiki could potentially strike and show back up in the story. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that something was going on with Momoshiki during the past, like of Boruto, like during the interim period? Or do you guys think something completely different? And Momoshiki probably hasn't been doing anything this whole time. Or do you think he might also be waiting for the perfect time to strike? Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, I'm going to talk to you guys next time. Bye.